everybody.
Hey.
It's good to see you.
We meet again, Doctor. We're going to kick off tonight's concert with a song that we have sung for years. It's an old song. I don't think anyone knows where it came from. We're going to pay homage partly...
When we go on the road like this in our railroad car, we often like to sing this song because it's reminds us of our hometown. We have the most photographed lighthouse in Maine is in York, Maine, where we live. But that's not about the external lighthouse. This is really about the lighthouse inside each one of us, right?
And we're going to do a shout out here, partly to Willie Johnson, whose version inspired us to learn it. And it might have been the first recording of it in the 1920s. And I also want to kind of send a shout out to Washington Phillips, who I can't help trying to channel him. Because this kind of sounds like his zither that he played, Manzarine zither, one of the more mysterious guys. And I also want to shout this out to Brian Bowers.
Yes.
The first living member of the Auto Harp Hall of Fame, which is itself kind of an oxymoron. It's a cute name, the Auto Harp Hall of Fame. I like it. But this auto harp belongs to Brian, and he loaned it to me. So, Brian, we love you. Let's sing a beautiful old song here. Take ourselves away. My Lord, he done just like you said. Let your light from the lighthouse shine on me. Heal the sick, raise up the dead. Let your light from the lighthouse shine on. Let it shine on. Let it shine on. Let your light from the lighthouse shine on me. Let it shine on. Let it shine on. Let your light from the lighthouse shine on. Let your light from the lighthouse shine on me. Angels in heaven wrote down my name. Let your light from the lighthouse shine on. Let it shine on. Let it shine on. Let your light from the lighthouse shine on me. Let it shine on, let it shine on. Let your light from the lighthouse shine on. Let it shine on, let it shine on. Let your light from the lighthouse shine on me. Let it shine on, let it shine on. Let your light from the lighthouse shine on. Let it shine on, let it shine on. Let your light from the lighthouse shine on me. Let it shine on, let it shine on. Let your light from the lighthouse shine on. Let your light shine on me, I think it's the official name of that song.
Well, this is something that's our first time playing a concert in 2021. Gotta say, it still kind of feels like 2020. But
And we've been promising you the same bat times and the same bat channels, but we pulled a fast one on you this time.
yeah,
Because it's not Friday and it's not 8 o'clock Eastern time.
and it's not the Puffin and Loon Lounge.
No, everything's different. And that's because of the wonderful folks in St. Cloud, Minnesota, at the St. Cloud Folk Society.
Yeah.
And they reached out to us and they wanted to sponsor this event. So here we are. And we want to thank Paul and the rest of the gang out there. And normally in the olden days, we would have taken our railroad car and gone right out there. We have been to Minnesota before,
Oh, yeah.
but you can tell.
I owe a great debt to Minnesota.
Oh, and what's that?
Well, my parents met in Minnesota at the University of Minnesota. My mom grew up in Minnesota.
She always had a
Twin
Minnesota
Cities.
accent.
Yeah,
It's true.
and yeah.
We'll tell you more. We might tell you our Valentine's Day Minnesota story before the night's out. But we're going to try to get to the music here.
So I'm thinking about my mom is departed, but my dad is out there probably listening. And thank you, Dad, for finding Mom in Minnesota.
We're going to do a tune I wrote on the 6-string banjo here, where I do an unusual imitation of a 5-string banjo for no apparent reason. I love the banjo, but I'm a guitar player too. So this one is in honor of our favorite and our only really local bluegrass festival near us here in Maine, in YouTube, not far from YouTube Village, the Great Ossipee Valley Bluegrass Festival. And we drove that road so many times up there to a little town called Hiram, Maine. So this is a tune called The Road to Hiram. We're going to pick it on the banjo and the fiddle here, just
Hey,
like
yeah.
we're going to pretend we don't have all of our teeth, and we're gonna wish we had a
come
jug
on.
of moonshine right over my shoulder here.
That part sounds good. it sounds.
We've been playing it so long. Back when we first started playing that, they just called it time music.
Oh, yeah, time music.
What do we got for him now?
I think you're going to cover one of your good pals' songs.
Hold that for a second.
Sure.
I'm going to put away this 9-pound hammer here. I'm going to do a song that I've learned when I was a teenager. And I'm pretty sure it was on at least one record that my family owned in our not very large record collection. And tons of people played this song back in the 60s. And in fact, it's been recorded over 100 times. And I think the version I first learned was from Ian and Sylvia. A lot of you people out there might remember Ian and Sylvia. I don't know if what they're doing now. But I discovered the record that by the guy that wrote this song in the early 70s. I guess it came out around 1968. And a man named Steve Gillette wrote this song. And sometimes, you know, when you have a kind of a hero, and this wasn't the first record. This was a later record that he made. But sometimes people are heroes, and then if you both live long enough, you can become colleagues. And Steve and I worked together. Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. Looks kind of like you.
And I'm happy to say now we've become friends, and Steve was the first guy that I wanted to autograph a copy of my new Troubadour Chronicles book. And I sent a copy to Steve Gillette over there in Vermont where he lives. And because I consider him to be one of the great troubadours of this era. And this record that we were waving around is a magnificent example of the art form that I'm trying to talk about in my book, which is the music made by one person with their instrument. And Steve is a magnificent guitar player and a wonderful poet and songwriter and a wonderful singer, and it's scary how many wonderfuls.
Oh, I know.
He's a very nice man, and he's written many great songs that have brought him some acclaim. Go look up Steve Gillette's songs. And
obviously a great partner.
Yeah, and Steve's also our hero because he had enough sense to team up with a wonderful woman who sings and plays music with him. And we feel very lucky to be part of the mixed gender, the legally binding mixed gender brother duet club of people that are married and they play music together. And Cindy Mangson and Steve Gillette have been playing music together for decades. Wouldn't surprise me if they'd showed up in St. Cloud, Minnesota more than once. And I thought about doing this in the same tuning that Steve did it in, but I think I'll do it in my favorite little partial capo tuning. Maybe I'll revisit it sometime. Where the Walker runs down to the Carson Valley Plains, there lived a maiden, Darcy Farrow was her name, the daughter of old Dundee, and a fair one was she, and the sweetest flower that bloomed o'er the range. She was courted by young Vandermeer, and quite handsome was he, as I hear. He brought her silver rings and lacy things, and she promised to him before the snows fell that year. But her pony did stumble and she did fall. Her dying touched the hearts of us one and all. Young Vandy in his pain put a bullet through his brain, and we buried them together as the snows began to fall. They sing of Darcy Farrow, where the Truckee runs down. They tell of her beauty in Virginia City too. At dusty sundown, to her name they'll drink around. And to young Van D, whose love was true. Where the Walker runs down to the Carson Valley plains, there lived a maiden, Darcy Farrow was her name, the daughter of old Dundee, and a fair one was she, and the sweetest flower that bloomed o'er the rain. Darcy Farrow. Although Steve points out on his website there that it's actually fictional and no one actually died. That it was so you don't have to feel sad for about the tragic story there of the. Although I didn't even really officially explain why this album is so amazing to me, because this was made before live streaming. There was a brief period in the music days when they made these things called direct-to-disc. Somebody decided somewhere that tape wasn't good enough and that you needed to have a microphone connected directly to the cutting lathe, and you made the vinyl record right off the microphone. So this album, and others like it, I have a handful of them, made in the 70s. There's Vanna White can have that. The entire side of the album was cut at once. There was no retaking anything. And that's a pretty daring gauntlet to run there.
Kind of like live streaming.
Yeah, kind of like live streaming. Nowhere to hide. So, I'm going to do an old song. I kind of got lost. I wrote this when I was 31 years old. Recorded it the year after that on the second song on one of my very oldest albums. And I like to think that this is the kind of song that I would have been writing a lot more of if I had never met Joyce Anderson. I was kind of a brooding, artsy guy, the poetry and all that stuff now. Now I'm turning into... I'm not as dark if I'm looking at my beautiful wife. It's hard not to look at her. It's hard not to. Oh, that's a good chord. Yeah. So I'm not so brooding anymore. I'm getting a little crabbier in my old age, a little more of a curmudgeon. But I don't go to these artsy places. So I like to think that this is one called Twilight. It's a good winter song. I live so deep in shadows, the lights have all grown dim. Fear and dark suspicion shroud the world I'm in. Like bats among the birds in the October sky, ever by twilight they fly. Now I feel the cold again, the leaves are dry and brown. Our final glance is written in the frost on the ground. Between the dancing daylight and midnight's broken cry. By twilight, a lost love will fly. Frightened like a man who thinks there's no tomorrow, living in those long ago moments of tranquility, living in the shadow of a cloud upon the ground. The neon sun is blazing, the streets are shining silver through the black electric sky. It flickers through my window glass. I don't mind the darkness, put the moon back in the sky. When you've been too long in the lights of a city, you lose the moon beneath the midnight neon morning. The night can never find me here in the twilight's endless glow. Like sailors in the storm, the lovers hug the darkness. They watch the moon rise high above the cotton clouds. Beneath the rose of sunset, the twilight comes and then it goes. So deep in shadows, the lights have all grown dim. Fear and dark suspicion shroud the world I'm in. Like bats among the birds in the October sky. Ever by twilight, they fly. Twilight.
That's beautiful. Gorgeous playing and
I didn't
singing.
think you liked those
I didn't
broody,
think I
like
liked-
lonesome guy songs.
I didn't know I liked it either. No,
Alright.
of course I like. Yeah, that's beautiful.
Well, it's time for Joyce Anderson to do her a little bit of things without me. I should do a quick plug for the things we sometimes plug. We don't have sponsors, except we have CDs and books and things for you can buy on the interweb. And you can get on our emailing list. We try really hard to send emails to those of you when we have these live streams. And we are the only people on the entire internet that are honorable. And
So far, we're honorable.
Yeah.
If we get desperate, we might sell your information.
So please find a way to get us your email address if you'd like to hear from us every now and then, especially when we do these concerts. And subscribe to our channels. This one's on my YouTube channel. We might start the Puffin and Loon TV channel. We're thinking about it.
Yeah.
And we're funded not only by your buying our CDs and books, but we cheerfully accept your donations. There's a link in this YouTube video and on our both of our websites, which are what?
Joyscream.com and woodpecker.com. Woodpecker.com is a little more
Easier to remember.
easy to remember, but
Yeah. So thank you again.
yeah,
in
so we
advance.
always like to say we appreciate your donations and we appreciate you if it's a hard time and you can't donate. We're just glad you're here. But
What are you going to sing for him?
I think I'm going to do, well, I know Christina Seaborn is out there.
Oh.
Fabulous fiddle player. And so I told you I wanted to play fiddle tunes, and you said, why not do your Swedish ones? So.
Ooh, because I think she was at the folk festival in South Dakota.
What? Okay.
I think I might have been standing with her while you were playing with the Swedish fiddlers.
Okay, I forgot. It's a blur.
Yeah, I have a
It's blur.
picture from somewhere.
I
of you
picture
playing
her at that
Swedish tunes.
awesome one in Grand Rapids, right? Is that right?
Rapid City.
Rapid City,
where
sorry.
your parents were married.
Oh yeah, I should know that better.
The Black Hills Bluegrass Festival. Yeah.
Yeah.
We used to make it to the Prairie pretty regularly.
Yeah, my parents were married in Rapid City, South Dakota, by my mother's father, who was a Presbyterian minister, and he had started a church in his house, and I couldn't fit grandfather as well in the lyrics of this song that I precede the fiddle tunes with, so I say father. So a little poetic license. Yes, these are times of. I like to always feel like I've got some joy deep down inside, but man, February in Maine, we are in virtual St. Cloud, but we are in Maine. Is that okay to divulge the secret here? Yeah, it's a crazy time right now in so many ways, and I always like to think of how joy and sorrow are so closely knit together. So here's one called Strange Elation, and then I'm going to follow it with some Swedish fiddle tunes. I'm wondering if maybe there's some Swedish people out there. Swedish bachelor farmers and Swedish bachelorettes and every various other kind of Swede. And it's funny, I was over in the Fallon Folk Festival in Sweden, and that's where I learned these tunes. I mean, there's a different rhythm coming out of the earth over there, but I had already written this song Strange Elation, which kind of has the same rhythm, so I like them together. Oh, what a strange elation, deep down in my very soul, always in close relation, joy and sorrow. tunes again. Is it me again, do you think? Or I don't know how we're doing on time.
You have a song?
I have another song, or I have a story. I don't know. I'm not the greatest storyteller, but I could try and tell a story of
Our Valentine's Day story?
I don't. Was it around Valentine's? We don't know.
I don't know.
We don't
But
know. It could have been.
This is our.
And we're realizing it's around Valentine's Day here.
We'll tell our Minnesota story. One of our best gigs we ever did was we were invited.
By Minnesota Public Radio.
In fact, this show we just found out Christina mentioned in the. I snuck over and I peeked at, and this is brought to us by the Minnesota State Arts Council.
I know. I saw that.
We're so honored. But
yeah.
I have no connections to Minnesota. My thieving grandfather never made it that far when he was selling snake oil and cheating people. He's stuck pretty much in the eastern part of the country. So I doubt that he cheated anyone in Minnesota back in his day. And this is our best Minnesota story, too.
Is it? Well, I don't know. I mean, the story of my parents meeting, and I actually got to go see the stairwell where they met in Dinkytown, a church basement where they used to have a supper club. When they were at the University of Minnesota. But anyway.
So there we were.
There we were.
We got invited by Minnesota Public Radio to come play a special concert at the Fitzgerald Theater. And they treated us royally. Plane tickets.
I don't know what the hotel was, but it was
hotel.
Beautiful hotel.
And we shared
right near the theater.
We shared an evening at the theater there with a wonderful audience.
And that beautiful couple, the Berrymans, Peter and Lou Berrymans,
who I'm sure are not strangers to the St. Cloud folks there. But Peter and Lou have been. I've known them since the early '80s there in Wisconsin. But Joyce, she had never met Peter and Lou, so we shared an evening and we did our music and they did their music.
And the undercurrent as we walked into this beautiful hotel room,
romantic hotel,
this romantic hotel room with the dinner they gave us or whatever, and going to this most beautiful theater, was that we were actually broken up. So,
your work.
Yeah, my work, whatever. We don't have to go into that, but
more than they need to know.
But it is kind of funny. That we got this wonderful gig, and so there we were after the show, this wonderful evening with that wonderful man from Minnesota Public Radio, and I Tom
Newman, the sound effects guy. He was a DJ. Yeah, he was wonderful.
Okay. Anyway, and we were sitting at the bar, and I kind of was like divulging, you know. We're actually having a little trouble, and Peter and Lou, what's your secret? How have you stayed together this long? And there was like this very pregnant pause as the air kind of went out of the room for a second.
Oh dear, she doesn't know.
Oh, she doesn't know. Oh, honey, we broke up after about we got married right out of in college, I think, and they broke up after a year. Yeah.
But that was what, 40
years ago. So they had enough of a career that they decided to keep their names, and they
appear to be a very happily married couple.
They had a nice career. All happily married to different people. So
that's what we do too. We pretend to be.
So anyway, I didn't change my name.
But Joyce getting love advice from Peter and Lou Berryman is our
that's our
Minnesota
story.
In
yeah,
Minnesota is our
story.
Valentine's Day story, because here we are.
It's a happy ending though. We're doing good. You know.
So we're gonna celebrate by doing my shortest and happiest song.
I get to play the banjo.
You do. You get
something like a banjo.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So we're gonna
close enough.
We're gonna feature this wonderful Ron Wall mountain harp. There's only a few dozen of these in the world, and I'm so thrilled. Our new best friend Carol in North Carolina sent this just a couple months ago. So
bless Carol.
This is my shortest and happiest song, and it's a love song for a girl and a banjo. Let's try that again. Take two. 2, 3. It's a breeze on a summer evening. It's a firefly on a July night. It's an old Chevy truck parked in the drive. It's a big oak tree. It's the love that's alive. It's a song stuck in your mind. It's a child learning nursery rhymes. It's a fiddler's foot on the kitchen floor, an old love song you never heard before. It's a freight train whistle in the night, singing like a mournful dove. It's a boy leaving town without looking back. It's a banjo playing, it's a girl I love. It's a freight train whistle in the night, singing like a mournful dove. It's a boy leaving town without looking back. It's a banjo playing, it's a girl I love. It's your mama calling on the phone. It's a dog run away, come home. In the bottom of the ninth, it's a big home run. It's the love we have. It's the morning sun. It's a freight train whistle in the night, singing like a mournful dove. It's a boy leaving town without looking back. It's a banjo playing, it's a girl I love. It's a freight train whistle in the night, singing like a mournful dove. It's a boy leaving town without looking back. It's a banjo playing, it's a girl I love. It's a freight train whistle in the night, singing like a mournful dove. It's a boy leaving town without looking back. It's a banjo playing, it's a girl I love. It's a banjo playing, it's a girl I love. It's a banjo playing.
It's a girl I love. Playing the banjo. I love it.
Yeah, man.
That was a first for me.
Well, as part of Black History Month, we thought for fun we'd do a interesting old song, although we like to do interesting old songs all the time. But this one first showed up. Let me get my special guitar here. This one first showed up on a 78 record in the year of 1926, and it's credited as being approximately the very first blues song played by a white guy. Whatever that means. I guess we know what a white guy is, but we don't know exactly what a blues song is. But something was going on there in the peasant music of America, and I spent a lot of time in my 500-page book talking about these things going on and one of the things that was happening is that the guitar was going through a transformation. And what I like to call it is that the guitar went rogue. And it had something to do, especially with the African-American folks that got a hold of these really quite well-made guitars that were mostly made in Chicago and New Jersey by the Harmony and the Kay and the factories. But the Stellas, those brands were surprisingly good guitars. And the things that were going on that became the foundations for American guitar music all seem to have their roots somewhere outside of European guitar thinking, and this wasn't John Dowland lute stuff at all. This was, and one of the things they were doing that was unusual was playing the guitar in an open chord tuning. This is the famous Vestipal tuning. And old Frank Hutchinson, when he sang this song in 1926, he was using a bottleneck. I think he played it in his lap, actually, with a knife. But the idea of playing slide guitar was not something that was being done in Europe. And when you put that together with an then the third thing that was going on was this right-hand stuff, this finger-picking stuff, that seems to have its roots in the mysterious griots of Africa. But I don't think they were doing this kind of stuff in London in the 1500s. I think this stuff came through the back door some way. But when you put it all together, and Frank Hutchinson made no... he didn't conceal the fact he learned to play from his black neighbors, as did almost all the musicians of that era. Hank Williams learned from his black neighbors. Bill Monroe learned from Arnold Schultz. I said Bill's first gig was he got paid $5 to play rhythm guitar behind a black fiddler in Kentucky. And Sam McGee was learning from the black folks, and Earl Travis was, Jimmy Rogers. And God bless all the people that didn't read music and weren't going to conservatories. And Frank Hutchinson was not the only one. There was a hive mind going on. And all over the rural South, people were doing interesting rhythmic things with their guitars, and we're gonna dive into this beautiful song here.
I just want to show you
Oh, Vanna White, that's
Harvey's book.
magnum opus.
Yeah, it's hefty. You can just dip
Hey,
in.
we're all quarantining. You need something to read.
Yeah,
Get it
you
on
can
Amazon.
dip in. You know, the chapters are kind of discreet. You can.
So we're going to honor not only the black folks that made up all this cool stuff, but the white folks that had enough sense to learn it and drop all that boring stuff they were learning in school. So thank you to all those musicians, and we're going to do a wonderful...
Let's take our time. I'm not sure.
Yeah, Frank usually played by himself, although he did play with a fiddler that I've forgotten his name.
I'm going to have a little fun on my viola here and use an octave pedal and play a little bit like a bass. See what happens.
There goes the train that carried my girl from town. If I knowed her number, Lord, I'd flag her down. Wish to the Lord that the train would wreck, kill the engineer, break the fireman's neck. Hey, that's the train that carried my girl from town. Hey, 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 hey. Where was you when the train left town? Standing on a corner, had a hanging down. Breakfast on the table, coffee's getting cold. Some dirty rounder took my jelly roll. Hey, that's the train that carried my girl from town. Hey, 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 hey. train that carried my girl from town.
Yeah, man.
Well, we're just about out of time here tonight on
Yeah.
our broadcast. Do we have time for one more song, maybe? Maybe
10
the
more
Minnesota
minutes.
folks
Should
will
we-
let us.
We have 10 more minutes. Should we? I think we do an hour.
Well, good. We have a
Should I-
perfect song to close out
Should I
with.
do this? No.
You want to do your two?
I wonder if we have. Oh, it seems like we have time.
Yeah, why not? I don't know
Yeah.
who's running the clock.
I don't either.
I can always hear more Joyce Anderson music.
Well, maybe I'll do that. It seems like we have
You're
time.
daring. The train that carried my girl from town. What a great song that is. But if you want to look up Frank Hutchison, there's no N in his last name. It's Hutchison. And he brought us the song called The Worried Blues, and he brought us the... What was the one that he... There was another really... Stagger Lee. He did the first recording of Stagger Lee.
Wow.
He did.
Wow, he was a dude. Oh.
Well, he was a coal miner. He wasn't exactly a brilliant musician, but it's interesting to me that while you're tuning, it's interesting to me that these groundbreaking things that happened in American guitar music seem to have been happening in rural places by uneducated people communicating mysteriously with each other, passing around musical ideas. And
Maybe we should just do the other one.
yeah, you want to do
Yeah.
our honeymoon?
Yeah, let's do our honeymoon song.
Joyce and I, we honeymooned in Italy and France, and it's another one of our Valentine's Day stories.
Yeah, we were trying to see if there was a traditional.
It's the only time I've ever defeated
If
you.
any of you guys out there know of traditional songs that are love stories, let us know.
Yeah, there aren't many.
We're limiting ourselves. It's not limiting. I mean, it is limiting, but it's freeing. Parameters are freeing. We
Yeah.
are playing original music, which we both have a lot of, and traditional music, which we can keep learning more. So,
Well,
we can keep writing more. Harvey wrote some great songs last year. I've been on a writing spree the last few years. So we have a lot of originals. Check out our YouTube channels. Joyce Anderson, S-E-N, Anderson.
They'll have to do some sleuthing
Yeah,
to find us. That's okay.
You can, all of the 25 live streams that we did in 2020, they're all on my YouTube channel. So you can, and there's also an amazing, I don't know if they can hear me, baby. There's an amazing page completely because of Harvey on my website, Joy Scream, joyscream.com/livestream, I think. You can find it. And it has every song that we did, 290 songs in 2020. We didn't know what we were doing when we started, but who knows what they're doing right now. So anyway, every song is listed there. I'm not sure what my point was, but yeah, it's just a way for you to find the stuff that you like that we did last year.
Well, yeah, now it's in the news this week. Now the cops have figured out how to keep people from streaming them when they're doing bad things, as they play copyrighted music, and the streaming robots shut down the videos. So if you don't want someone to film you and broadcast what you're doing on the internet, just play copyrighted music.
Incredible.
Well, I love smelling your guitar neck. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Maybe I can scoot over a little. We're gonna do, the only time I've ever defeated Joyce Anderson in anything was on our honeymoon. We had a bet to see who could do the least, who could accomplish the least. And
So sweet that you say that.
several weeks went by, and I didn't learn anything. I didn't create anything. It was marvelous.
You learned all sorts of things.
But Joyce actually wrote
You
this.
created more love in my
You
heart.
wrote this beautiful song, so that officially that made me the winner because I didn't create anything. But I'm pretty jealous. It's a beautiful song, and it's about the church bells that were ringing in the beautiful town in Italy where we wrote this in Perugia.
We can send this out to our church in our little town.
Yeah, we hear the church bells
We
here.
heard the church bells from our house. And I just want to put that out there too. I mean, I am cheering on the little churches in all these little New England towns. I don't know if it's the same out in Minnesota. Like we just have these churches in the center of our towns. White churches with the steeples sticking up in the sky, and they're struggling.
We were able to go there until it's too cold now. We did outdoor services there.
Yeah, they're
through the fall, and hopefully.
And they used to be such a part of the community, a place where we all went and gathered and had potluck suppers and all sorts of things. That's why I started going. I was trying to find the place in town where people were gathering. And anyway,
sing
so
them your
sing this
beautiful
after
song.
church.
Get a clean start.
One called Church Bells.
Thanks, everybody. We love you. Stay warm out there in St. Cloud. I know it's going to be zipped up in your sleeping bags tonight. But thanks to everybody for watching, and we'll see you in a few weeks. And
thank you to the Minnesota voters who voted to spend some money on the arts. We so grateful that we could come play for you.
We're going to feed our children with it.
Yeah.
God love you.